Friends, what is up? Let's talk about my favorite stock on the stock market, and that's Nano Dimensions. So with Nano Dimensions, lately has been sitting at an incredible buy price, and I know a lot of you had just been racking up shares here lately. I know I have. I honestly just put another 800 in Nanos last week. Nano Dimensions for me is one of those stocks that I'm using as a retirement fund. My 3 retirement fund stocks are Plug Power, Tesla, and Nano Dimensions. Those are my 3 stocks that I really hold high in my portfolio. But let's go right into a chart with Nano Dimensions. Going into a 3-month chart starting back there, January 25th, Nano hit $16.66, an incredible high for the company. Then dropped a little bit down to 13, around $14, then back to a 15, and then back to a 16.72 cent range, and even after hours hitting an $18 mark. And then after that, Nano Dimensions started to sell off dramatically, and then came the downfall of the stock market crash, going all the way down to a $7.60 range, which I hope a lot of you bought in at that moment. I know I did. This was literally like free candy at that moment. And now Nano Dimensions is back to an $8.50, $9 range at a bid price on it. Now, going into news with Nano Dimensions, there has been a lot of news with Nano Dimensions. We were at an all-time high with Nano, and a lot of people were thinking, if this market keeps going the way it's going to go, Nano Dimensions is probably going to be a $30 stock here pretty soon. If the stock market had stayed healthy, stayed up, we could have seen some pretty big numbers here. The market fell, a lot of people got out of Nano Dimensions, and they have not come back. But going over some news with Nano Dimensions. So when you look up articles with Nano Dimensions, and like I've said, friends, I do not invest on these analyst articles, but I do like to read them because they do have good information that these analysts have dug through, put together, and it makes it a lot simpler to find information. So we're going to look at that information right now. And this article is actually saying to avoid Nano Dimensions right now, which makes me want to buy it even more, because when I see these articles that say avoid this stock, usually that stock does really well, because like I said before, I don't really believe in conspiracy theories, but I do believe that a lot of these analysts have puts on these stocks, and this could have a little bit of control on the market with the bid price of the stock. At the moment, Nano Dimensions' flagship AI-powered printer is called Dragonfly. It was developed in 2019 and it has a price tag of $250,000 to $350,000. So we're going to read a little bit of financials, so try to hold on here. But if you are an investor in Nano Dimensions, you probably definitely want to hear this. Q4 revenues of $1.97 million were flat. Its R&D expense during the period increased to $3.72 million from $1.53 million a year ago, while its net loss in Q4 was $17.44 million. In addition, its revenue in FY20 declined to $3.4 million, while its losses for the year were $48.5 million. Considering this, it's safe to assume that while the company doesn't hold any long-term debt, should be considered a risky investment, as it will continue to lose money in the foreseeable future. And when they say the foreseeable future, guys, that could be like 2 months to 6 months. On top of all this, the biggest downside of Nano Dimensions is that it already has executed dozens of stock offerings in recent months, which diluted its shareholders and increased its share count by over 3,000%. Considering Nano Dimensions has a net margin of 1,426%, it doesn't generate a positive FCF, and it hasn't leveraged its balance sheet to this day. It's safe to assume that another stock offering could be executed later this year. Since it's very unlikely that the business will become profitable anytime soon, what's even worse is that in the last 5 years, Nano Dimensions stock has dramatically underperformed against S&P 500, and we don't see how it will be able to improve its performance anytime soon. With a price to sales ratio over 70x, Nano Dimensions is already significantly overvalued, and we find it hard to justify a long position in it at this stage. One last little bit, guys, let's read this, really important. Another downside of Nano Dimensions is that the company is richly valued. Currently, the value of the printed electronic is forecasted increase to from from $592 million in 2021 to $2.4 billion in 2025. Considering that Nano Dimensions trades at a market cap of $2.1 billion, it's safe to assume that all the near-term growth is already priced into its stock, so its upside is limited. Now friends, there's a lot of different articles on Globalstar. Now there's actually another article that I was going to put that actually said a lot more good things about Nano Dimensions, but I thought we know a lot of good things about Nano. I kind of want to focus on maybe some negative aspects too. And the other article actually talked about investing in Nano Dimensions for the long term, which I totally agree with. Nano Dimensions is still a very early company, still in the very early stages of development, but Nano Dimensions has a lot of wiggle room to grow. So in this article, they're talking a lot about Nano Dimensions is not a great investment right now. Now, I personally disagree with that. And I think we're going to play around this $8, $10, maybe probably $11 range with Nano Dimensions a little bit longer here, especially while the market's trying to figure out what the market's doing. But that's totally okay because we're still at a great point with Nano. And like I said, I think a lot of people that invest in Nano Dimensions are not here for the short term, they're here for the long term. And they are saying that we could see another stock offering here. And honestly, if they did, I would not be surprised for that to happen. Seems to be the trend here lately with a lot of companies doing stock offerings. But like I said, I think our playground right now with Nano Dimensions is going to be around the $9 to $11 range, and the low will be the $8 range. So you're going to have a lot of swing traders in and out of this right now, but holding on to that $8 mark, you know, that's the pillars of a lot of people that are in here for the long run. So guys, with saying the $8 to $11 range is going to be our playground, we're going to be bouncing back and forth here, and when we see that $7, maybe $8 show back up, that would be the point of entry. I would probably buy Nanos. I would definitely not buy this when it hits $11 mark again, because we're probably going to hit 11, then fall back down to a 9, hit a 10, fall back down to a high 8, and we're going to be here for a little bit until we have some better news come in and get this wagon rolling again. So friends, I want to thank you so much for being here. I'm going to make some more videos about Nano Dimensions and keep you better updated with it. And guys, it is never too late to invest in your future. I started my investing with $5 in a measly Robinhood account, and in the first year I made 2/3 of my retirement just on Robinhood alone. So investing is the thing to do in this day and age, and it is super fun to invest in your future. So guys, thank you so much. Remember, be positive, be you. I will talk to you very soon. God bless you guys. Bye friends.